World's richest man was buried in the Atlantic with the Titanic. But why did the Titanic sink, even though it was said to be unsinkable? In 1912, the Titanic set sail from England. Some of the world's richest celebrities were on board. At the same time, a 1-million-ton iceberg drifted from Greenland into the Atlantic. People will soon see what it can do. And the Boilermakers on the Titanic were feeding 600 tons of coal a day into the boiler turbine engines. This generates the power to drive a huge propeller, 7 meters in diameter. Titanic's Plimsoll line is over 10 meters long. That's where the cargo holds and the boiler rooms were. So the boilermen were actually working underwater. And it's these ordinary workers who make it possible for the liner to sail the Atlantic at 42 kilometers an hour. And the first-class cabins are lavishly decorated. Ink and brass upholstery of the finest quality. Handmade carpets from India and Persia. Even the stair knobs are gold-plated. But all this is about to come to nothing, for the Titanic was getting closer and closer to the giant iceberg. The first mate then ordered full right rudder, but that proved to be the wrong decision. The ship rounded the iceberg to the left. It seemed to be a slight scrape, but it was fatal to the Titanic. The bow hold began to take on water, and the passage room was flooded. Passage workers are rushing to get out. The Titanic had 16 separate watertight compartments. Even if 4 of them took on water at the same time, they were fine. That's why the Titanic never sank. So a head-on collision, even if it smashed the bow, probably wouldn't have sunk. But here's the kicker. The side impact ruptured 5 watertight compartments. In just 20 minutes, 7,000 tons of seawater had flooded in. The Titanic quickly sent out fireworks of distress. The bow sank first. Passengers in the bow ran aft. Some jumped into the icy water, which was close to 0 degrees centigrade. Those who couldn't make it in time stayed here forever. The weight of the bow increased as it filled with seawater. The stern was forced up, and even the propeller was pried completely out of the water. Some of the passengers slipped into the water as if they were on a slide. The hull was under tremendous pressure. Eventually, it was too heavy and broke in two. The bow of the ship sank first and sank to the bottom of the sea at 60 kilometers per hour. Under the acceleration of gravity of tens of thousands of tons, the bow of the ship plunged into the seabed, and the stern began to sink. The huge chimney broke off and collapsed. Eventually, the never-sinking cruise ship sank. Of the more than 2,500 passengers who didn't make it to the lifeboats, only 6 survived. The shock was as great as 9/11 in the 21st century.